Hello everyone, this is Victor Orduna. I'd like to first thank every single one of you for making this class so amazing. It has been so informative and helpful for my future in speech. Without further ado, what makes SpaceX so amazing? As most of you know, I work for SpaceX, been there for a while, but today we're going to talk about its rockets. Now, standing at 225 feet tall, 12 feet wide, and can produce up to 1.5 million pounds of thrust is our Falcon 9. It can do quite a bit of stuff. It can lift heavy objects to space like satellites. It can lift our spacecraft all the way to the International Space Station. It's quite an amazing piece. Now, one of the cool things about our rocket is that we can launch, land, and reuse. So some of those features are pretty intense. We've had to use reusable motors. That means that we can relight them, so we have to have the ability to do that. There's a lot of engineering involved in that. We have to be able to steer it, so we use grid fins. We also use some pretty sophisticated technology, which is leading the way for all of our inventions. So landing a rocket can save us a ton of money, but it's also pretty difficult. When we launch a rocket, it goes pretty high, and landing that is even harder. The comparison of that is taking a pencil, throwing it over the Empire State Building, and landing it on a floating quarter in the middle of the ocean. Sounds pretty difficult. But we do that pretty well, and we've actually gotten pretty good at it. So, now next to the crown jewel of SpaceX, that is a Dragon spacecraft. We actually just got one back today, and that is what I'll be working on for the next few months to refurbish it. But the Dragon spacecraft takes supplies and experiments to the International Space Station for the astronauts that are living there. Here soon, we'll actually take our own up to space. Now, looking forward, we've done over 50 launches, and the two guys on your screen are now going to be our first astronauts to space. They're going to ride the Falcon 9 inside Dragon and rendezvous with the International Space Station. That's going to be quite an achievement for us. Ever since I've worked there for about 5 years, that has been the end goal, and that has been what I've personally been striving for, building up the engines and propellant systems for that system. Now, Elon Musk. Everybody has a mixed opinion about Elon, but my opinion is pretty standard. He's pretty smart, and he's a really good boss. Recently, he let go of a lot of people, which sucks, but, business is still business. But for a lot of us, we think he is the real Iron Man. He's been making all kinds of inventions. He's been giving them away for free. And most importantly, he is actually a good person. I think that he means for the world to be a better place, and he tries his hardest to make sure that that actually happens. Now, we've been pretty transparent with our launches. We've launched a car into space, Elon's personal red Tesla, which was pretty cool because it has a mannequin in there named Starman. He's flying around, listening to David Bowie, and he's on his way to Mars. Actually, I think currently he's somewhere in Mars orbit, kind of coming back around. He'll be intersecting Earth and Mars for the next few thousand years, hopefully. But because of our transparency, we actually have all of our launches are on YouTube. But because of our transparency, we actually have a lot of competition now. We actually share a little bit too much knowledge, but it's all right. It's all for the better good of humanity. Now, in this slide, you can actually see some of our best crashes and landings. Now, the crashes are pretty cool because it's actually the way we developed on how to land perfectly. It took a lot of effort, but today we got it down pretty pat. So the first video is going to be about how not to land an orbital class rocket. Now, the second video I think is my favorite. It actually demonstrates our Falcon Heavy capability, which is actually 3 Falcon 9s strapped together. Now, this thing took Elon's personal red Tesla up to Mars orbit, and it was just a demonstration of how well the system works. Now, with that, we only landed 2 of the 3 boosters. It's okay, though. We still made we still made history by sending up such a heavy launch vehicle. It is actually the only vehicle capable of lifting such heavy objects into space currently. Elon is working on a next generation vehicle, which will actually be to send our Mars colonial unit to Mars. So we call that the super heavy lift rocket. It was once called the BFR, or Big Falcon rocket. It had various few other names, but a lot of people know it as that. So stay tuned for that major achievement coming soon to Texas. Now, to finalize everything, Elon had pulled a couple pages from a book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now, it said on the back of the book, don't panic. Just do what you got to do. It doesn't really mean to worry about what's happening next or what will happen. Just go with the flow and let yourself ride the wave, per se. Now, in classic SpaceX fashion, let's go occupy Mars.